Call this meeting of the Harriman City Council, March 6, 2018 to order. Before we get started, we'll have a prayer by Councilman Wright, followed by the pledge of allegiance to the flag. Councilman Wright?
Yeah, please join. Heavenly Father, we're thankful again tonight that, first of all, we have an opportunity to come together and to take care of the business of our citizens. And Father, we ask that you would be with each member that's gathered here, the community and the council. And Father, we ask that you continue to look after our men who are officers and firefighters and all the others that do the work, that provide the services that our citizens need. And Father, we ask that you be with our country. We pray that somehow that we will see a day when there's more agreement among people. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Chris Taylor. Buddy Holly.
Here.
Tim Johnson.
Here.
Kenyon Me.
Here.
Sam Russell.
Here.
Lonnie Wright.
Here.
Our quorum. Motion to approve the minutes of the February 20th, 2018 meeting. Motion by Councilman Johnson. Second by Councilman Holly. Councilman Johnson. Councilman Holly. Discussions, corrections, amendments? Call roll, please.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. Need a motion to pay the salaries?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Russell. Second by Councilman Meade. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Councilman Meade.
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Buddy Holly.
Yes.
Tim Johnson.
Yes.
Kenyon Me.
Yes.
Sam Russell.
Yes.
Lonnie Wright.
Yes.
Motion carries. This time we'll hear from delegation. If you'd like to address council, please stand, state your name, and limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Hi, I'm Pam May with the Rhode Alliance. We just published our 2017 annual report. I brought you guys a copy. I just wanted to kind of tell you a few highlights. There's a lot of information in here, but we did more marketing than we'd ever done before. There's a whole list in here of all the magazines that we did. We even did some commercials at the movie screens in Knoxville. We did, of course, print and digital ads. We did television. We did some email campaigns. We also go to some trade shows. So all that information is in here, and also the results from all of that marketing, and that's to market all of our events, all of our attractions, everything about Roane County. Also on the ECD side, there was 238 net job growth in 2017. So that was really good news, and $17.5 million in capital investments from existing businesses. Visitors spent $67 million here. And that was a $1.7 million increase from the previous year. That's 2016 data. That's the last data that we have. We don't have 2017 yet for that information. But that has continued to increase every year, and so that's why we do what we do. Also, out of our marketing budget at the Alliance, we spent $25,000 to get fishing tournaments and athletic events here, like the Three River Rumble, and that I know happens also. It's 3 cities, so part of it's here in Harriman. We looked at our return on investment on that, and we nearly doubled the attendee list that came to those events this year, and also so the economic impact was quite a bit more, and we basically got $26 for every dollar we spent back in the economy. So like I said, all that information is in here. So I wanted you guys to have that, and the annual report, Charles, I said right. The annual report is on the website at runalliance.org/report. I have any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have anything for Ms. May? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for what you all do. Anyone else like to address council? Yes, sir.
Yes, hi, my name is Justin. I'm new here, well, not to the county, but new to coming to the council meetings. I live over on Swan Pond and Fred Davis Jr. Road, and I guess it was about October. I noticed you guys are putting in a volunteer fire department. There's a...
That's Midtown.
Oh, that's Midtown, so it's not even associated with this. So do we even live in Harriman if we're over?
You don't live inside the city limits, no, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
So this really kind of doesn't even pertain to me?
Well, I hope it does. I hope that you come inside the city and you use what we have here. but
Yeah, that'd be
you're-
great.
You're inside the county and not
Okay.
inside the city limits.
Okay, so I need to speak to someone else about concerns
Midtown,
about that.
Yeah, fire department. Our chief is here, fire chief. You're welcome to get with him after the meeting. He'll tell you who you need to contact and
Okay.
talk to.
That'd
I
be
seen
great.
that sign down there on the corner the other day also.
Yeah, I mean, I just live right next to it, so I'm just curious what's going to happen.
Okay.
And also on a lighter note, I have a small video company. I notice you have someone filming, but if you ever need someone, I volunteer my time.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else like to address council? All right, we'll move into reports. HEB?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We've been talking about the new pumps at the water plant. Of course, we got a grant through TVA to partially fund that. And we've ordered the pumps, the high-service pumps, at the time of the order, which was a couple weeks ago. So turnaround time was just 2 or 3 weeks, so those should be coming in pretty quickly. A lot of folks probably don't realize how big our service area is. We go up Flat Fork Road and we serve Frozen Head State Park. A lot of folks don't think about HEB as being that broad. And the reason I mention that is because we're doing some work up there right now. They originally put in an underground system. We're having to replace some of that. It's getting quite old. Plus there's a pole that when it was put in was situated in the termination of 3 creeks up there, so we gotta get it out of there when the water goes down, but we're doing some work at Frozen Head. Up on Lad Mountain, we have 269 kV lines up there. Our right-of-way crew is going in and clearing those out so that we can get in there and replace some poles. It needs to be cleared anyway. There's several poles in there that need to be replaced on that. And one other thing I want to make the council aware of, there's not anything that either you or the board, and the board's aware of this, needed to do with this, but I wanted to give you an update. Apparently in January, the federal government changed some tax laws for the banks. And of course, us and Dr. Curley, we worked with Cumberland Securities, and Cumberland Securities came to us and said, you know, the loan that you have in water and sewer with U.S. Bank, they're going to increase the rates on that because of this change in tax law and all that. It is a variable rate loan. So anyway, long story short, Dr. Curley helped us by preparing a spreadsheet of comparisons. If we went ahead and locked into another 3-year variable rate, we could save quite a bit of interest money even after paying the fees on that. I think the savings amounted over the time to about $40,000, so it looked like a good deal for us. So we went ahead and, like I say, we discussed this at our last board meeting, but wanted to make you all aware because you all are the bargaining body of the city of Harriman, but we still have a very good rate. And again, I appreciate all Dr. Curley's input to help us on that. So anyway, we've got the loan redone and all that's taken care of. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. That take care of Dr. Curley? Is that?
You did?
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody have anything for Mr. Young?
You're gonna be here another meeting or two, aren't you, Bill?
Yes, sir. At least one more.
He's getting ready to go fishing.
Oh, is he?
Permanent.
You need any partner?
I'll be here at least one more.
But I want to tell him, we really appreciate what Bill's done in the past few years in the relationship between the city and council. We really appreciate it.
And I'd like to echo that. Yeah, I've been the mayor for almost 2 years, and it's been a pleasure working with you, Bill, working with HEB. As I tell you and your employees, you won't find any better. I scroll Facebook every once in a while. I don't get on there much, but I scroll it. And I noticed there's a tree down in Swan Pond a week or two ago, and you know, 10 o'clock at night, it's pouring down rain, there's a storm, and the power's kicked off, and, you know, within a couple hours, it's up and going. Go find that somewhere else. And, you know, I'd compare you all to anybody, and appreciate what you do, and appreciate what you do as far as for the city. You all do a lot for us, and we appreciate that. Fire department.
Thank you, Mayor. Just got the monthly stats in front of you. Just to look over those. It's going to be a very busy month for us. Also, the new chief's vehicle come in. I'll tell each and every one of you thanks for letting me purchase that vehicle. It's very nice, and I'm proud of it. Also, thanks to the citizens of Harriman, you know, that pays the taxes for us to be able to purchase that equipment and improve our departments. Also, the last thing I got, we started work on our fireman's memorial down there. Thanks to Drax guys for helping us break ground on it. Next few weeks you'll start seeing some major work going down there, so it'll be very nice when we get it done. The community's really come to us and helped us and gave a lot of donations, and it'll be nice when we get it done. I'll take any questions if you got anything for me.
Anything for the fire chief? Chief, what's the status on the pumper truck?
Sorry about that, I was going to mention that also. It is back. Transmission, everything's in, doing good. It's not in service yet. We got another small repair that's got to be done at the city garage tomorrow. It'll be back on the road probably tomorrow evening sometime.
And we've been using Rockwood's pumper while that's been out
Yes.
of service. I want
Yes.
to thank Rockwood for all
Yes,
they've
most certainly.
done.
Very
and
thankful
for
for
letting us
that
use it. Police department.
Sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The monthly stats are there for your review. I'll answer any questions you have on those. A couple things I want to announce. Some really good news. The Oak Ridge Police Department just donated to us last week 20 DVRs for our L3 camera system. They have upgraded to a whole new system, and they are getting rid of and replacing all their older systems, which is still the same system we're using. These run 3,500 new. Yes, sir. So 20 of them new would have been $70,000. If they're half price, that's $1,500. That's $30,000 at least at minimum. You can say we just got donated from the city of Oak Ridge, and we really appreciate that. We're going to get these DVRs tested. We have some cameras. Some may need to be fixed. So to put cameras in all the new forts and or fix any of the older ones that are broken is going to be a minimal cost now of some parts and cables and connectors, maybe a camera or two, but I'm elated. We got $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of stuff that it's just fantastic. So, and I'd like to do something for them later on, and if I at some point talk about a letter or something nice to the city of Oak Ridge in the future for that, for public recognition. Next, I would like to draw everyone's attention to the Rowan County News from Wednesday, February 28th, and Cindy is here somewhere, I saw her a minute ago. Cindy, in the Rowan County News, if you didn't get a chance to see it, or if you didn't really take notice, but every single word on the front page is a Harriman police investigation with a great result. And I'd like to recognize some folks. We'd like to recognize some folks. First and foremost, if you want to, thank you, sir. If I call your name, please stand. Detective Casey Minot and Sergeant Warren. These two gentlemen worked the Grady shooting. That was a very cold day, and it was a very intricate scene, and it took a lot of hours to get that done. There were a lot of interviews to be conducted. We can't thank the Rowan County Sheriffs enough for helping us out early on in the beginning stages. And TBI came out and helped us in the DA's office, obviously, and that was great. But Detective Minot spent days, hours, thousands of hours, and hundreds of hours, and days and weeks doing follow-up on investigations to bring this to resolution. And now it's gone to grand jury, and we have an indictment, and it was just really great work. Following up with that, we have the Huck will be sentenced to 10 years headline. That's referencing an older vehicular manslaughter case, which Detective Minor again was involved with. He rode that case through court, picked up a lot of pieces from an old case that had been sitting kind of idly for a while, and had to do a lot of coordination and get that taken care of, and run that through court and fix whatever errors were missing in getting the evidence to court, and just a lot of coordination. And if you've ever sat through a lengthy trial, you know just how much work is involved in that, sitting second seat to the DA's office, and we're really appreciative of the work he did there. And last but not least, Investigator Brian Turner, along with Assistant Chief Humphrey and Detective Minot. We had a armed robbery at the CVS store. Turned out to be a fake gun, but nevertheless it still fits. An armed robbery, and these gentlemen ran out to the scene and handled the scene the way it's supposed to be done. They got in there quick, they got snapshot interviews, we were broadcasting on the radio, they got pictures of the computer screens and surveillance scenes. That was broadcast out, and it went to all of the, everybody that we knew at the time. And that information led the other Minots who aren't detectives, Minots who aren't here tonight. I should have invited them, I didn't think about it just now. That got broadcast. His brothers in Rowan County got that car stopped with him still wearing the same clothing, with the evidence, some of the evidence there. But along with that, Detective Minot had to spend, and these two investigators spent days, hours, weeks following up a lot of detailed interviews and investigation to build enough probable cause, get a search warrant to get in somebody else's house who was an accessory, and recover, what, 98% of all the pills that were taken. About 90% of all the pills that were taken. The theft was of a gross bottle of opioids. So really great case, really falls onto a drug case done well. And the quick thinking actions of those involved brought quick resolution to a serious case. The Harriman Police Department would like to publicly recognize the efforts of these particular officers and thank all those who assisted in these cases. Their success in these most recent cases is a tribute to the new standard and expectations that have been implemented throughout the department. Having great employees in the right places gets the right results. And while these officers have been with the department for some time, there's a new energy and renewed sense of excitement and commitment. We're all very proud of the work they did on these cases and continue to do to this day. Thank you very much. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have anything for the police chief? Chief, we had talked some time back about the body cameras that we used to have, wasn't any good, we sent them back. We've been at a standstill with them. Where are we at with those?
We are in testing process, and Detective Minot could speak to that, if you wouldn't mind.
We contacted, say, roughly 12 companies, heard back from 4 to 5. We're testing one company's now. I know we've got another company's, should be in the mail to us, and then Michigan Attorney met with another company on Friday, and they're also sending us some demos. We're trying everybody out who will allow us to try them out. So I'd say a few more weeks, and okay, we should be ready.
Sounds good, thank you.
Have they given you any idea on the individual pricing, like to sit one person or the?
Yeah, it ranges anywhere from, most of them are monthly because of the storage, and they're ranging anywhere from, I think, about $35 per officer up to over 100.
We'll have a full report for you on that, because there's a lot. There's some are data storage, some are cloud storage, some are buy this equipment, some are lease the equipment and get new. There's a variety of packages, and that's why we're being generic with our statements, because we actually haven't finished the evaluation.
Right, no.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for the work you do and for the protection that you give us. We appreciate it.
You guys want to sit down for the rest?
Special events.
Today I attended a career fair at Cherokee Middle School that hosted all of the middle schools in the county. All of their 8th graders came out to it. And it was great to be able to just kind of let young kids know the different kinds of jobs that are available out there. It also was great exposure for me in my events because lots of them had never even heard of some of the events we have. So it was great getting to talk to a lot of the kids and bring right to their attention a lot of the stuff that we have going on in Harriman. Speaking of which, we have the chili cook-off on March the 24th. I hope all of you are planning to attend. The police department submitted their application this week, and I'm still waiting to get the fire department one. I know it's coming, but it hasn't come in yet. And the golf course is also participating. So we have a lot of departments going against each other, as well as some of the people defending their titles from last year. Anybody wanting to apply to participate in the chili cook-off, the deadline is next Monday. And the same goes for anybody who would like to sponsor the event again this year. And that's all. Y'all have any questions?
Anybody have anything for Mr. Rebecca?
Oh, it's 5 to 7 at the American Legion Hall.
I bring my own bowl.
We depending on how much we have left over, we might sell a full bowl of chili at the end.
Them little bitty cups, I'll have to have a lot of them.
I don't know, it goes a long way.
Chief, is every one of the officers cooking a bowl of chili, or y'all all just putting them on?
Actually, yes. We're having a pre-contest at the station. And then the winner of that one gets to, yeah.
Okay.
Officer Hayes is handling that.
It won't do no good.
All right, Chief.
Jacob, I guess they just kind of leave you out.
Probably should.
Parks and Rec.
Well, we've not solved any cases this week, but we've made a lot of kids smile at some of our sport events. But currently, just to piggyback on what the fire department said, I want to thank the council for helping him get a brand new truck because he got something new and he was able to pass something new to us. As you know, some of those green trucks are really old and on their last leg, so we inherited the chief's truck and go put it into use tomorrow. So thank you, City Council, thank you, Chief. Currently, I know a lot of you probably seen the survey on Facebook for the LPRF grant that we're working on. Kevin's been spearheading that, and Rebecca and myself have just been helping him with whatever needs to be done. I like our chances of securing that money to further some of the programs in our city. If you haven't had a chance, you haven't liked our Facebook page, go in there and like it. You'll find a link to the survey to be able to give your input on some of the direction that you'd like to see our recreation facilities go towards. And then Kevin, you want me to speak to this now or you want to wait?
We'll do it towards the end.
Okay. And we have there's another pamphlet. We have our end of the year basketball tournament this Saturday at the Harriman Community Center at Harriman Middle School. This year, as most of you know, we started Rumble Basketball League, the Harriman Rockwood Kingston Midway. We had 55 teams competing in a 10-week season. I think it's been great, and look forward to more in the future.
Anybody have anything for Alan, Parks and Rec? Thanks, sir. Public Works, Mr. Lane.
Yeah. The Ford 150 transmission was out. We got it fixed, rebuilt and put in. We've had to seal some roads for the police department there. Carter Street and Bird Alley. They've been writing about my policeman there. I had to cover it up. We've been cleaning some ditches and our new bandit chippers. It came in and it's turned it up. And then our ton truck, it'll be in March. I went and checked on it today. And I called Rogers today. They're looking at probably last of this month or 1st of April on finishing up West Hills and finishing what money we got left.
Thanks, sir. Anybody? Mr. Lane. Thank you.
Hey, we want to thank the council too for that new chipper. I mean, we really needed it.
Library.
I got an update about the step system for the sewer department, for the sewer at the library from Kevin today, and hopefully it will begin next week. I reckon there's been some health issues in Barger's family too. So he's waiting for it to dry up and hopefully begin next week. It's been a long wait, but hopefully it will get started. The library is putting on a Seuss-a-Palooza this coming week. This Saturday from 11 to 1 is celebrating Dr. Seuss's birthday. We'll have birthday cake and pizza, and there'll be interactive storytelling and plays of several different of Dr. Seuss's books. It'll be at the American Legion. And there is also a charge for it, $10. We're hoping to raise some funds to get a storage building to put all the children's supplies in. But bring the kids out. They'll have lots of fun, and along with lunch. And we also will be having a regular Easter egg hunts this month. And April is National Library Week. April the 8th through the 14th, we'll have a celebration then, and hopefully coordinate with Cornstalk Cots on something special too. We have adult computer literacy classes that begins March the 22nd, and they will run through actually November, and it will cover several areas for people that would like a little bit more knowledge about computers and social media and all different aspects of the computer. And that's about it.
What time Saturday?
From 11 to 1 at the American Legion. And I've got these up front, but you all, yes.
Anybody have anything else for Amy in the library? Thank you, ma'am. Codes enforcement.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Got a copy of my report up there with you. Still going around trying to keep on people that's got the trash and what have you around the properties, and trying to get a handle on some of the junk vehicles. Got a couple of other tasks going on. Got a piece of property I'm doing some investigating on that Kevin brought light to me, and I've got a house that I'm working on trying to get torn down or fixed. That'll be coming down. I had a meeting. We attempted to have a hearing for the property owner last Wednesday, and it's a no-show. We'll come find out he had not received his letter. It got delivered to another address of his, and he got it, so we're going to have another hearing scheduled for this Friday with him, and we'll go from there. This will be his chance to plead his side of the story, why he needs to keep the house in the condition it's in. And that's all I got. Got any questions?
Anything for Brown Codes enforcement? Well, I know you're doing your job because my phone's ringing. People upset, but that's what we want. And I hope that the council stays in support of what we're doing. As far as cleaning Harriman up, we're going to get phone calls, but you continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And the city's looking better. Appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, if I may add one thing, that what a lot of the council doesn't get a chance to see is there's a lot of administrative work that still needs to be put into place, and he's going to a lot of places, a lot of schoolings, and getting there's a lot going on there in the background that you don't get to see, but he is up to here with paperwork.
Treasurer, Dr. Curtis.
Yeah, I'll update you on the bank safety deposit box. Teresa and I went down, and we had to drill the lock off of the box. The only thing in the box was 2 backup tapes from back when we merged schools. There was a backup tape for the school system and a backup tape for the city. And no, we keep them now in our own safe, so it's not like anything in there that really needed to be there. So.
Did you listen to them, Don?
Pardon?
Did you listen to them?
Oh, no, they're data tapes, you know, where you back up your system and you got all the data
I
on
thought
it.
it might have been those guys when they were there.
Oh, it'd been a good thing, bud. I'd like to hear some of it.
On, next item was, we are 88% collected on property tax, so that's much better than we were last time I was here, so that's all I have at this time.
Thanks, sir. Anybody have anything for Dr. Carter? Thank you for that sad report that there wasn't no money at the bank. City Attorney.
Just a reminder, I'm going to court on Thursday at 1 o'clock for the Harriman hospitality case. So I'll have a more complete update in April after that hearing on Thursday.
Do you have anything for City Attorney? City Manager.
Update you on a few projects. You have a one-page summary of the Margrave resurfacing project that we have planned using the surface transportation dollars that we received from the federal government. As you'll see, that project would be scheduled to get a construction in roughly 1 year from now, March of next year. One of the key points that I want to make, and we'll be getting out to the community more as we get closer to it, but it should be around the end of April or early May of this year that we will host the community meeting and get input from the residents along that area as to what they would kind of like to see built into the design and changes of that project. There are a lot of things that are required by the federal government, by the state, that we don't have control over, but there are also a number of things that we do have our various options as to how we can put that project together. So we'll be giving the residents of the area an opportunity to weigh in on that, again, probably in towards the end of April, early May. Currently, we have a request for qualifications that have been sent out from various manufacturers for the splash pad. Those are due back within a couple of weeks, and so should have additional information for you on that probably by the end of this month. We have also placed the order for the new lights for Run Street. And we have just completed writing a request for proposals for the signs, wayfinding signs for the downtown area that would go on the lights once they're installed. Those should be going out in the next few days, and we'll give companies a few weeks to put that together. So that'll be something coming back to you probably next month as well. Both of those projects are part of the TVA image funding that you set aside a year or so ago. As mentioned, the recreation survey is available on Facebook, or if you don't have access to that, you can get a hard copy here at the office. Please complete that so that we have your input as we move forward with our application for the recreation grant for this year. That is a grant that's available every 2 years. Also wanted to make sure council was aware that the building which the city owns in Kingston that we lease out as a medical facility that we became owners of through the hospital dissolution. That lease had an original term of 20 years, and then there was an option to renew that for an additional 20 years. The first 20-year term terminates on the 31st of May of this year. And I've asked the city attorney to verify what steps need to be taken for us to make sure that we do not renew that for an additional 20 years. That would be my recommendation. We've still got a little time to talk about that in a workshop if need be. But if council feels otherwise, and feels like there is some reason we would want to renew that for an additional 20 years, then we would need to discuss that at the next workshop. And then lastly, I just want to thank Candace Bensdale with HEB. She has been tremendously helpful in keeping the library project moving along, and providing us with information on that. I certainly appreciate that, as well as Jeff Mize and Heath Lewis, who have been very helpful in providing us with information related to the utilities and what would be required with regard to the splash pad installation.
Anybody have anything for the city manager? Thank you, sir. This time we'll hear from the city council. Councilman Russell. Councilman Johnson.
I got a few things. I've been getting some complaints down at Riverfront of people throwing cigarette butts down inside the kids area. They said they're just smoking and throwing them down everywhere. So, Alan, could we get maybe some cigarette butt cans down there or something?
It's gonna encourage them to smoke even more.
Well, could we make that a non-smoking area inside that? Because I mean, they're all around those kids smoking. I don't know if we legally can do that, but
That'd probably be my my suggestion, was we might could get a couple of cans and put them in some selected locations, but then within the child's play area, we'll add some signs that say no smoking on the playground.
And a lady called me yesterday and said some adults were laying on the slides and that some of the playground equipment just laying there and they wouldn't get up. So their kids couldn't even use it. And that one little teeter-totter one, there was a full-grown adult laying on it, and they said they was afraid it was going to break. It was bending so bad. And on the dock, like me and Bill Joe's been down there fishing, and we'll have little bitty, I'm not talking teenagers, I'm talking little kids come down there on the dock, running around, and there won't be no adult with them at all. And the parents are up there at the playground equipment up there on their phone, texting on it or not paying no attention, and those kids are coming right down there on the dock running around. So remember we discussed putting that rope up down there on the dock? We probably need to get that up and get a throw ring just in case one of them goes. I mean, somebody'd have to go in after them because they wouldn't know to grab that ring, I wouldn't think. They'd probably go straight under if they fell in.
Who wanted that dog?
Huh?
Who was it wanting that dog?
Looking at it. And let's see. Oh, and they're throwing those new rocks that we put in down there in the water. Today, me and Billy Joe was down there and a little kid was picking some little ones up, throwing them in, but I politely discussed it with a parent down there one night not to be doing it. He had his two kids throwing them in. So, that's all I've got.
Okay. And so we're still working on the camera system down there?
We are.
Spoke with a gentleman today. I actually spoke with two, one company out of Connecticut today, then one out of, it's a local company in East Tennessee. I believe they're in Lenore City or Alcoa. They seem very promising, this other company. So they're coming Friday at 9:30 to do an assessment on the park, and I'm hoping to get a couple more companies involved and get the best quote within that price range of what we have set aside for that. So, but it's looking good. We've actually discussed different camera locations. Right now with this company that's local, we're looking hopefully at a 16 camera security system along with a MiFi system that would work, but we have open Wi-Fi for folks that come in there that would be monitored under certain conditions. So some good progress on this point.
We had two meetings set up previously with one company, and they didn't make it for either one of our two scheduled meetings, and so I asked Assistant Chief Humphrey to take the lead on that project, and I appreciate the work he's been doing on it.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Wright.
I had a couple things there, but Tammy and Drac, I think, and Kevin told us that Barger is going to be moving in about a week, and Rogers finally get that paving done, so I won't comment. My words are a little different from theirs. But security, here in Kennetalk there at our parks and out there at that splash pad, whenever it's finished, and other places, it seems to be like the schools. We just can't have enough security, can't harden the place enough to keep out the people who come in and do things to it. But maybe those cameras will help, Kevin.
I think.
And Kevin, I don't know how much thought's been given to the operation of that splash pad, but I'll send you some notes. I got to think about it. And small kids can drown in an awful small amount of water, so it may present some problems if we don't, have somebody on site watching. And if we ain't got somewhere locked it up, we'll have people down there bathing at night. But that's all.
Councilman Holly. Councilman Lee. The only thing I got is I want to remind the council and the department heads that Friday, 2 o'clock, Wade Creswell from Rome Rice will be here to speak to us about the school merger that they're looking at. So I would hope that everybody would come and listen to that. And I guess it's open to anybody who wants to come, or anybody to come. But I think we need to listen to what he has to say. The school ordeal is a big ordeal, and I think in some way it affects all of us as to what direction it goes either way. So just want to make sure that y'all remember Friday, 2 o'clock. And that's all I have. We'll go into the agenda. New business. Discuss and possibly approve first reading on ordinance 0318-01, an ordinance amending the zoning map of Harriman, Tennessee by rezoning property along Pansy Hill Drive from R1 to OS. Open space. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Councilman Lee?
I was at the planning commission meeting when they came in, and basically what it is, it's a couple that's recently moved, they bought the Stowers home, and they were wanting to open use the barn, and they're still going to maintain the residence as a home, but they want to use the barn for special events, weddings, company parties, that type of thing, and they're not going to do any changing as far, I said the most you'll see, they want, the purpose of doing it that way is look for a while to find a property like that, and anyway, they picked that house, and we agreed to make it open space, so that's something where they can't just sell it off as a commercial property and have something else move in there, but they're talking like you might see a sign at the road to direct you up to the house, to the parking or something, but they're not going all extravagant in the commercial business or anything in it. That's all I have with that, just to let you know what it is about.
I saw HEB putting y'all hook and power up down there the other day on that pole to it.
Yeah, and we're working with them on, they're gonna need another sewer tap, and we've gotta work out some details on that. Yes, sir.
I think that'd be good if they're gonna use that for weddings, because, I mean, places I've been to that's had weddings, ton of people there, and bringing them into Harriman, they're gonna be probably using gas and eating and everything, just going in and out, but I really like it.
Floor is open for discussion.
If anybody's looked at it on Facebook, it looks really nice.
Call roll, please.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenyon Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve golf course lease for driving range addition. Motion to approve. Motion by Councilman Russell, second.
I'll second.
Second, Councilman Johnson, Councilman Russell.
Have nothing.
Councilman Johnson.
I think it'll be a great addition up there to the golf course. That's all I've got.
Floor is open for discussion.
First of all, has city attorney looked at this lease?
Yes, I drafted this lease and there was some missing information when I did it. I've since received it, I just haven't updated it yet as far as the name of the parties and the property description. It's not actually a deed, it's just going to be kind of describing the area of the golf course. And I was waiting on confirmation for some of the terms. I put in 15 years because I think that's what was discussed at the last meeting. But I'm open to suggestion and change as far as what the city wants, what the golf course wants or needs. I think Dr. Curley might have some comments too. I saw you had some notes on the copy of the lease agreement, so if we need to discuss those, I'm certainly open to that.
Is there a provision in here, you know, maybe I missed it, for exit by either of the parties along the way?
Well, since we're the ones leasing it, the only way really for us to back out of it would be if the range partners is what they're called. If the range partners terminate, if they default on the lease somehow, then one of our actions of recourse would be to terminate the lease or to say, hey, you're in default, you need to fix this, whatever, pay for it. But otherwise, as long as they comply with this, we have to let them use it for the term of the lease. Because, I mean, part of it is the guarantee they get to use the property, so as long as they're compliant with all the terms and conditions we give them, then we have to let them use it.
Yeah, I was looking more at a case, and I don't think it would happen, but if something did come up where the city no longer could or desired to operate that course.
Well, I think that would be a different issue, and that might cause some liability on us if we're going to terminate the lease early. And that's just something to be aware of. But I mean, ultimately, we're saying, you know, we have this golf course and we're going to let you lease it. Well, right now it says 15 years. That's kind of our contractual obligation. If something's going to happen and we have to close the golf course, then there might be some liability in this because we'd be terminating it early.
Would we be able to close the rest of the golf course and still maintain that location?
Probably, it just depends on the circumstances at the time, if the golf course is closing or changing ownership or something. You know, we can look at our options. It's just we need to be aware if we're also going to lease out a part of it, we are obligated to that part unless they default for some term. The other thing is, I had it as City of Harriman doing business as Emery Golf Course. I'm not even, is that okay, or do I need to make it just Emery Golf Course? Because I'm not sure the city technically owns it, or?
City, yes, owns the course.
Okay.
It is by name Emory Golf Course and is treated that way by the Department of Revenue.
Okay, so I'll change the parade name to just the Emery Golf Course instead of City of Harriman, but otherwise I think I've received most of the fill in the blank information I needed, unless council or golf course or someone else has comment to change the terms.
I don't think there's anyone up here that doesn't want everything to be a success, but, you know, if something happens, then we're locked.
I'll yield the floor to Jackie.
I actually thought about this, and I didn't get a chance to contact you with what we were talking about, but I thought about what Councilman Wright was saying as it pertained that the city wanted to sell or offload the golf course. What options would there be for us there? And what kind of liability would the city have if they put out the 15-year lease? The exact thing you said at the beginning was kind of what I was going to ask. What y'all thought as it pertained to us, because technically what we're doing with the golf course can still be self-sustaining, but since we're leasing the land and not buying it, would you all be able to sell the golf course, or you know, how does that work for y'all's purposes, and how does it affect us? That's kind of my.
Yeah, I mean, the same for you if you, I said you, the private entity, if they came to the point that they said, hey, it's not profitable, are they locked also?
Well, if the private entity is signing the lease for this term, then this is what they're obligated for, and if they want to terminate it early, we would have recourse, and we could potentially get the whole cost of the rent owed, or, you know, whatever our options are, depending on the circumstances.
It just needs to be worked out for both parties.
There's some other language in here that I think really needs to be edited. I discussed with Kevin earlier. It's got a lot of boilerplate type language that is not perfectly fitted for this particular lease and puts you at risk. And I have a lot of margin notes I can give her, and we can even have a sit down talk. But there are nuances in the language that, you know, I'm always looking at worst case scenario. What could happen with this language in here? And there are several places in here where the language is not to your benefit.
Is that something that, Dr. Carter, you and the city attorney and Kevin and keep them in the loop?
I'd be happy to go over yeah, I'd be happy to go over where I think there's some modification might be worthwhile.
I wrote up most of it, I think, that I submitted to Allison from a layman point of view as far as how leases pertain to property and subletting it. So
Yeah,
what I wrote was more of just a property description.
There's some issues in there related to proration, shouldn't be there. There's some other issues related to you're combining private and public property to make a driving range, and that has a unique set of issues associated with it, as well as risk and liabilities. I think we need to sit down and go over each one of these steps in more detail to tailor it more specifically to this particular purpose.
If we don't act on it tonight, is that devastating?
We're pretty far along at this point. I mean, we've got a building built, we've got poles set, and we've got nets ordered. We've got a machine, we got a ball machine. We're pretty far along. We were operating on the pretense that it was going to be approved and we were going to move forward. If Dr. Gurley thinks that something can't go through, then obviously the sooner the better for us.
Would it affect you all to put it off for 2 weeks till the next meeting as far as the council approving? Because when I read the lease, and my only concern in the lease, and until he started talking, was the part about tying ourselves into a 15-year, which I'm okay with 15-year. But in that 15 years, if we do decide that the golf course is not profitable and we're not going to put any more funds into it, that we can offload it, and at that time, with a 30-day written notice to you all, we're coming out of the golf course business. Because we've said that since I've been the mayor, and even when I was on council, that if the golf course does not start being more self-sustaining, which that's why we brought you on board, and I think that it's going to be there. I'm not doubting that. But it protects that if something happens in 5 years and the golf course just goes out, we're not in trouble with whoever's sitting here. It may not be any of us, but to protect them in the long run, that they can get out of that lease, sort of the same way that we have the property out on the other end of Harriman, that we have an option to get out if we get rid of the property, if we sell it or something. We have that option without it giving recourse back to us. I don't think it will affect you all. It just gets it off of, that was my only concern.
We can certainly do that. I just didn't know that was an option or something the city wanted. The only thing is, if we do that, and we're not necessarily guaranteeing the golf course for 15 years, it might affect Range Partners signing it. Which, I mean, that's their choice, but if we're going to put that in there, that's just something for them to be aware of,
That's
So that
dangerous on our
happened, or
part to just say,
change the owner.
the people leasing us the property can end the lease at any time when it doesn't really suit them. I mean, that would be tough for me to probably sell to these guys that are looking to make a
So
pretty
they-
substantial investment in.
They might have some reservations signing it. So that,
But it's hard for us to say that we're gonna hold on to a piece of property for 15 years, and if it loses money every year from the city standpoint, we're putting people down the road at jeopardy of saying, and I seen it happen, and I don't want, I'm for it, so don't take it that way, I'm for you. But I seen it in the hospital ordeal. You know, we signed something and we're stuck with it, paying for it for, you know, and it's killing things that we can do because we can't do anything with it. So.
But I think you could structure it to where you could divest, the city could divest itself of the golf course, and whomever were to assume the golf course would have to honor whatever the remaining term of this lease is. Or at that same time, the other option would be the property could be divided with the new ownership, taking the golf course portion of the property, and then some sort of sale being negotiated in lieu of the lease for what's being used as the driving range.
Yeah, they may be pretty interested in buying it. You may have a hard time finding a party willing to buy a golf course with a driving range not as part of it.
And I'm okay with both of those scenarios.
It's kind of what we've already done up at, with the Renaissance and letting the radio flyer group,
The only options we have with the course basically is lease it to another party to operate or return it to the members. We can't sell it.
You talking about the golf course itself?
Yeah, the golf course itself.
I thought we had to offer it to them first. If they turn it down, then we can lease it, sell it, do whatever we want.
I'm unsure who we're referring to. I'm sorry to interrupt. When you're saying offer it back to the members, I mean, that's kind of an arbitrary term when we offer an annual membership that
It probably
some
the
people
board.
renew.
I was there when we done. I think I had Mr. Balcom do it. I'm not speaking out of turn, but I think that we had it to go back to the board.
I don't think we have a board.
Back to the golf
I mean,
board?
the golf
Yeah,
board.
I mean, it'll be your golf board that you got now. You have a golf board now?
It's, I mean, he.
I don't know. That's been a long time ago. I've slept since then.
But that's for the council's purposes. Was the golf board was my.
But they operated it at one time.
We were supposed to be looking for that lease, weren't we? I think we talked about that not too long ago, looking for that.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was in that box he drilled open.
I'm sure there is a copy of the lease somewhere, and we'll try to find it. I'm pretty certain the language was written originally that if we decided to not keep it, we would return it to the membership. And that membership, it was a membership organization to begin with. But we can lease it to a third party to operate.
But does it have to be leased as a golf course, or does? The
Yes, it would have to be leased as a golf course.
So it really wouldn't affect the driving range. They'd either offer to buy it or want us to maintain it. At that point, they're not going to want to close the driving range down next to a golf course. I wouldn't think.
Man, you might want to buy a golf course.
Can you,
They might not want to sell.
Can you and Dr. Curley and Allison and maybe Jacob get together and get it just where it protects them and it protects us all, and of course council can, there's a motion on the floor in a second, you all can stick with what you've got right now. I can't change that motion or that second, but.
I agree with what Kevin said. Work it out to where if we were to let it go, that it would be in writing that they could still have their part on the lease. Whoever took it over would have to honor that. Or something in that.
So we need to withdraw a motion?
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Well, he has to withdraw yours first.
I'll withdraw mine.
I'll withdraw mine.
Okay. So there's no motion on the floor, we can still discuss it.
I was just gonna say, they ought to be able to put together or correct what needs to be corrected, and if time is really the essence, we could have a special call meeting if we can't wait till the second
I don't feel like it's not gonna go through. I mean, if what Kevin's saying is true, I think we can protect both sides and we'll keep moving forward. Matt Ladd has to, well, he's on a little bit of a time crunch too with some of his equipment, so we're pushing pretty hard for the next few weeks. But we'll keep going and I don't, the only real issue is the city's inability to lease the property to another entity right now. Is that the main issue, Dr. Curley, as it's written?
Lease,
The city wouldn't be able to lease the golf course to somebody else, the way it's written right
I
now?
think, we could lease the course. If this were in place, that would be part of the lease terms of leasing the course, that this would remain in place. So. But the problem, really the problem is the language as it's written right now should be tweaked some.
Okay.
I don't see it
We
affecting
get
you,
a copy
Jacob.
of that, the old membership and the lease that when we first took it over, because we might put ourselves and in jeopardy if there's something in that lease that we're not allowed to do if we're just going off a little bit of everybody's memory in here on it. That
Do we have that lease?
It should be somewhere, maybe in our archive.
I'll be honest, if it's lost, it's probably expired or something, so I mean, who even knows if that's another can of worms, to be honest.
Do we have to document that we made a good faith effort of looking for the lease, and yeah, we probably should if we go, before we go into another lease.
I think we need to and see what those terms say, or if it's still current or expired, or, I don't know.
So y'all work on that, so we can get this thing approved for you all. Next item, discuss and possibly approve request for handicap parking at 722 Clinton Street. I don't know what this is, Kevin.
This is a request that came from homeowner at 722 Clinton Street. They have official state-issued handicap parking plates and have experienced times where other people are parked along the road in front of their home and they have to park further away, and so they were asking for a designated handicap parking spot to be put at that location. Councilman Johnson, I think, talked with them.
He contacted me the other day, and apparently there's a house or so around him that has a whole lot of people come over quite a bit, and it's younger, you know, teenagers or a little bit older, and every time they come home, they're right in their spot, right in front of their house, and they are handicapped, both of them. So they have to park literally several cars down the road just to find a spot. And you know, I've met with him and everything, and he's, you know, he has trouble walking, and I think his wife does too. So they would just like to have a handicap in front of theirs, which I explained to him, you know, what you told me. And he said that he was okay with that.
And that was, you know, if we designated it as a handicap parking spot, it's not necessarily reserved specifically for the homeowner. Anybody that has officially issued a handicap plate could park in the spot.
But after we talked, he said, that's fine. He said, because as far as I know, no one right here in the immediate area is, you know, handicapped other than us.
Does he not have any other place to pay him that's on the place that he got?
Yeah, if their spot is, if it's taken, if you drive up through there, you'll see the whole road is lined up with cars.
They don't have because most houses on Clinton Street have back parking. They don't have any back parking.
I think his neighbor does, the mayor.
Do what now?
His neighbor does, but not his. He's wanting to make him a parking lot right there beside of his garage.
Yeah, that's the issue.
It's behind Diane's house, Diane Nalbaugh. You know her alley. That's where it is. 722.
There's so many people next door there all the time. They always fill up. He said there'll be 8 to 10 cars just from that one house taking up the front part of the road.
Man, we've done it before.
We put a handicap on the street?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was around commercial stuff though, church.
No, so Trent Street beside, Trent Street Church on the other side, at one time there was one there. Different set of council, different mayor, but yeah, they've done it before. I mean, it's your all's call though. I mean, I can't.
Well, I don't have a problem with it, I'm just, what scares me is you start opening it up and we've got everybody coming down here with handicap tags, wanting to line the streets with handicap parking, and yes, you're gonna have to do it. That's the only, and I'm not against a handicap person in any way. I just wanna make sure that we understand what we're doing before we do it.
Who do we have with that would look at a place and determine, yeah, this is what it should be? I mean, if the people are handicapped and they got no place to park, it's pretty obvious that.
Is the streets, I guess my question is, Clinton Street. All right, what is, I guess from a city standpoint, that's a road.
Yes.
We don't have any markings on the side of the road for parking, period. So.
It's a city road, Mayor.
It's a city road, but is it a city parking lot? We don't have any markings, so if we put a handicap over there, are we liable for people riding up down the road? Because it's parked on the side of the road, I understand, but I just wanna make sure that, you know, when you take a fire truck through there, you're squeezing through to get anyway. Of course, people are parked there, but once you start painting lines, you start putting yourself liable.
Well, we could measure it off and ensure that you have enough width for what our requirements are for both the width of the parking place and the travel lane. And if you have that, then there shouldn't be a problem. We haven't done that yet though, so.
But the problem is though, you've got parking on both sides of the road.
Yeah, there's
I
no
mean, it's hard when it snows to even throw salt. You know, there's
Well,
nothing.
my question is that to be classified a handicap spot, doesn't it have to meet a certain criteria? You've got to have room for that ramp to come down. That's why you see it a lot of times, they share a spot and they have that big void in the middle. Something to think about.
Yeah, unfortunately, on Clinton Street, nobody parks in the back of their houses. That's the one street, everybody parks on the street. Don't know why they do on that side, on the left side, because, well, that's steep. If you go down, you have to climb upstairs to get to your house. On the other side, I don't understand parking on the street, because you can walk right into your house back there, but they do. They don't park in the alley, they park in the street.
What's your recommendation?
What if council tables it to the next meeting, let us go out and measure the width and see if it's sufficient for what's required, and then we can come back and discuss it at that point.
Yeah, and also check on the point raised about, you create a parking space, what else may be required of you?
Ramps, everything else to do with it.
Probably handicap around.
Yeah, you started doing it on side, every sidewalk.
So, Dr. Council, table that till next meeting.
Okay.
Next item, discuss and possibly approve lease for golf carts at Emory Golf Course. Is you, Kevin, or is this Jay?
You know more about the details, do you?
So the lease for the current golf cart fleet was a 5-year lease with a 4-year rollout. And what that means is with Yamaha, that means we've had those carts since 2014, so it's 2018. We're at the 4-year rollout. We can now get a new fleet of golf carts in, or we can keep these golf carts that we have for another year, but the maintenance will be on us. Right now, the maintenance is covered through Yamaha with the lease we have, basically the periodic maintenance and any type of smaller things they'll come out and do for free. So they offer you the rollout just to I don't know, it's just an incentive to get a new fleet really. But the lease is there. I've been in contact with the Yamaha rep, and we've got all the preliminary stuff laid out. Right now we have 30 carts, and probably looking to do the same number, 30 again. It seems to work pretty well storage wise. Special events, Rebecca and I were talking, we plan on taking one of the 30 carts and making it a shuttle cart, which is a back seat as opposed to a golf cart club storage, so that when they ask for a cart, they can get a cart where they can actually take people around on. It'll be a 4-seated cart instead of a 2-seater. That's an additional, Shannon said he'd sell me the seat for $400, and instead of having 30 golf carts, we'll have 29 golf carts and a shuttle cart. They're gray, they're new, and they look good, but it's either this year or next year. It doesn't, the lease expires either way. I think it's $72 a golf cart is the cost. It went up, I think it went up $5 total, so it was around 30 cents a cart, or no, 20 cents a cart, something like that, was the price bump. We're basically getting the same thing that we had before, just a newer model.
Yeah, the terms of the lease are the same. You pay 8 months and you don't pay 4 months. December through March you don't pay, but you pay 8 months payments. This particular one, the payments are like $4.50 more than what we're paying now per month. And so it's basically the same agreement we had before financially with respect to how we're billed. And it's only a marginal amount of increase per month, like $4.50.
And that's all, Charles, it's gonna cost us.
Well, you've got like a $2,000-something a month payment.
I know that, but it won't increase.
Well, it increased from what we have now by $4.50.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
So it seemed like it makes sense then to go ahead and swap them out.
It does. I think it makes sense to go ahead and swap them out because of the maintenance, because you're hitting your 5th year, and you know, those guys out there that might not know the same thing, we have to pay to get it serviced if something goes wrong. So right now we've got all the 30 carts are running, so they'll take them back. They won't, you know, if your carts aren't running, that affects, you know, the return portion of it. But we've got them all running. They have to be able to complete 9 holes. It's basically the criteria the guy explained to me. So we're good on the trade back end.
One service call will wipe us out, that $4 would.
It would. It would. Yeah, I wanted to take it before the golf board. Before this, the golf board meeting is scheduled for next Thursday. The only real question is the number of carts. Whether or not we wanted to do 30 or we wanted to try a smaller number to save that money, because then that would be a substantial savings if we wanted to try that. If you want to table it till the next council meeting, I can call the Yamaha rep. The carts aren't going anywhere, and maybe I'll see what they think about scaling that down, because if the carts are $70 a piece, if you took 5 off there, you might save, you know, some money in that regard.
Could we approve it for him like up to 30? That way he can move on after he finds out.
I would prefer to have 30 carts. I didn't get the golf board's approval on that number officially. I have talked to individual members and they're fine with the 30. But
I'll make a motion, we approve the proposal for golf cart lease with Jacob determining up to 30.
Second. Second. Motion by Councilman Lee, second by Councilman Russell. Councilman Lee. Councilman Russell. Floor is open for any further discussion.
are we okay with the cart, converting the shuttle cart for special events? That's an extra $400 for the seat, but that was it.
Which I have her to pay
She
for
said
if
she'd pay
needed. I mean,
So we're going to check.
I mean, we can shuttle one person at a time right now, so.
It's
What's
been
the point
needed
of
for a
shuttling?
while for special events. I'd
Yes,
say
but it's not worth it for me to buy one myself, so.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenny Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve of a firm to administer the LPRF grant resolution R031801 that we approved earlier. Get a motion to have someone administer.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Russell. Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Russell?
No, sir.
Floor is open for discussion. Call roll.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenny Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve of an engineering firm to provide information on the LPRF grant. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Russell,
Second.
second by Councilman Lee. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Councilman Lee.
This is obviously working along with the one we just approved for the administrative part, the engineering.
That's correct. All we're approving at this point in time is a minimal amount of engineering that is needed for the application itself, which generally is cost estimating of the work that we want done. If funded, then there'll be another approval at that time for the much larger budget of actually constructing the project.
And how much are we shooting for on this grant?
We haven't decided for sure yet. We're probably looking at a project somewhere in the $300,000 range.
And we have to have the engineering, right?
That's correct. And we did request proposals from 3 firms. One firm didn't respond, and one responded that right now their workload was too great and they were not interested. And then this firm did respond. Alan and I both met with them, and I think both feel comfortable recommending them for the project.
Any other discussion? Call roll, please.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenny Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Yes. Motion carries. That's all we have on the agenda. You'll need a motion to waive the agenda rule for 2 more items, one pertaining the police and fire and one pertaining the rec department.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion second?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Holly. All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign? All right, first item. Discuss and possibly approve purchase of computer equipment for police and fire department.
So essentially what we're doing in the police department would be transitioning from the laptops that they use in their vehicles to an iPad. Also replacing the little MiFi boxes, which is the connection that you have to Verizon cell network with an actual phone that can be hotspotted to make that connection. So basically we're continuing to have the same capabilities and actually expanding upon those with many additional things that they can do with this more portable device. They do have grant funding available for a portion of the purchase. So on the police department side of things, the total cost is $6,530. We have $5,000 in grant funds, meaning we would be funding $1,530, which is available in the budget. On the fire department side of things, this would be the first time that they would have capability within their vehicles to have the same type of access. It would give them the ability on scenes to pull up maps of the fire hydrant network so that they can look for the closest connections that they need in the event of a structure fire. It would help them when they do their pre-planning for assessing various buildings, as well as when they do their commercial inspections, which we do at various times upon request, and then there's other times where we're required to do that. The cost for the fire department would be $1,890. Those funds are also in the budget, so it would be a total for both departments of budgeted funds of $3,420.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Wright, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Holly. Councilman Wright?
Kevin, that, if I heard you right, that really improved communication, ways to communicate. Okay.
To be able to find things more quickly, and everybody have access to the same information, even if they're separate locations.
Anything else, Councilman Wright?
No.
Councilman Holly?
No.
Floor is open for discussion. Call the roll, please.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenny Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, discuss and possibly approve purchase of field rake for the Parks and Recreation.
Yes, we had originally tried to put this item in the budget for this year. This is a little brochure on what we're looking at. We weren't able to do so, and so we were going to look at it for the upcoming year. But this company was aware that we were in the market for one of these units, and they received a used unit that was in pretty good condition. So they brought that out to us last week, and Alan and his staff have been using it for about 4 or 5 days now, and it seems to meet their needs. It's probably about half the cost of what the entry-level market would be if we purchased a new unit. And so what we're requesting is that you would approve $7,500 to make this purchase. That amount of money is in the budget. We just did not have enough money to purchase a new unit at the price point that they would be for what we need. And these units are used to rake the baseball and softball infields and get those prepared for play.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilman Russell, second by Councilman Johnson. Councilman Russell.
No, sir.
Councilman Johnson.
I think it would make a big difference. Alan I've talked to him about it a while back, and it's really nice what they do.
Floor is open for discussion. I went out today and looked at the unit out in the building in South Harriman. It almost looks like a new unit to me. So it looked good. I thought it was just this little bitty rake thing that was on the back, and I kept asking Jake, we $7,500 for this little bitty thing? And he kept saying yes, because he didn't understand what I was saying, but there's a big unit in front of it that I wasn't counting, so. The mower part, or the riding part, but it does look like a new unit, it looks good. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Buddy Holly?
Yes.
Tim Johnson?
Yes.
Kenny Me?
Yes.
Sam Russell?
Yes.
Lonnie Wright?
Motion carries. Anything else need to come before this council? Just a reminder, Friday, 2 o'clock, department heads, council, please try to be here, and let's hear what Mr. Cresswell has to say. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor, aye? Opposed, like sign.